Hey, Soul Sisters, we have got to get together and talk about Women's Retreat 2026. Katie, you were such an amazing leader. I cannot wait to tell everybody what went down during this retreat. Love you. Talk soon. Hello, our sweet Pacers. Welcome to the 3 Mile Per Hour podcast. This is Rachel, and I'm here with some of my best girls.
I'm Katie, and this is Hannah.
Hey, ladies.
Hello, Rach.
Kai, we're missing you.
We are missing you. So her and Wyatt are back in Fort Worth, but this isn't a bad thing. This is for a sleep study. So we're hoping for some good results on the sleep study, at least some answers.
Good.
Yes.
I know.
Any result is an answer at this point.
That's true. And that's what we're praying for.
Yep.
Of course, ultimate healing, but we have to get to diagnoses to find solutions.
Yes.
You know.
And I want to say to our Pacers, thank you so much for always, all three of us have, outside of this room, outside of our online presence, outside of all of that, we have people approach us who listen and are like, what's going on with Wyatt? How's Kai? Mm-hmm. And the fact that y'all love and care about them in your hearts, it means so much to me. And it means so much to Kai. I know that it's precious to Kyla. Thank you for loving them and praying for him and just having an interest.
Absolutely. And we know that sometimes when we're going through things, it can feel very lonely. And especially as moms, you just feel overwhelmed. It's all on your shoulders. And even if people do try to help, they don't understand.
Right.
You know, and it's just everybody's story is so different, but Kai's is particularly difficult.
Yeah. It's so special at the same time.
Exactly.
And she carries it well.
Oh,
you would not know by
You would
looking
not
at her or
Speaking to her.
no, you would not know.
I think my hair would be in a messy bun every day and maybe get a toothbrush.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
I got this one brushed today.
Yeah, exactly. And
We'll see what happens tomorrow.
quarter of a leg shave, and that's all I can manage.
No,
so
she's still
she
doing
rocks
great.
it.
You know, she does not let the enemy in on that if she can help it.
That's right. Such a good mama too. And
yes.
Wyatt's such a happy boy.
Oh my goodness.
He is so precious. All right. Well, Kai sadly also missed the Pagosa trip because of needing to do some things with Wyatt.
Yeah.
And it was just too difficult for her to get away for 4 days and leave him, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to.
No.
Well, they had just gotten out of the hospital in Fort Worth within days of that trip. So
Yes.
she was signed up to come, but by the grace of God, he filled that position with my mom.
Yes.
And that was so special to me too. I mean, if I can't have one, I love having the other.
For sure.
You know?
Yes. And lucky for us, she was our roommate.
Yeah. So it was a blessing to us too.
Good.
I felt like the queen. Like I just felt so treated well and had the best room and had the best roommates. And yeah.
After looking around, there wasn't a bad room in that house.
No.
We did feel like we got the best room, but there wasn't a bad room in that house.
It was also
agree.
full. We were packed in there, but it was great. Me and Hannah sleeping in a queen size bed. Was it a full? I don't know. But
Coyote Hills Lodge, is that what it's called?
yes.
In Pagosa Springs. If you have a large group or you want to take multiple families, we highly recommend that place. It could not have been more ideal. And we have never been there, didn't know. It was just the first place that spoke to us when we were looking through possibilities. And we were like, if you want us, we're going to ask for this, Lord. And he willed it because it was perfect.
It was perfect. Whenever we drove up, do you remember what we saw, Rach?
Yes. How could I forget?
There was like 30 or 35 deer just greeting us out the gate.
Yeah.
It was really special.
It was something.
That.
There's something about being in the mountains that just makes you feel closer to God.
Really, it's biblical, guys.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Well,
I was thinking about Moses going up on the mountain to meet
but
God.
Even Elijah, his moment on the mountain.
Yep.
There are many, many, many moments on the mountain.
Yes.
Right. It talks about the high places.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly. And so I loved the location because it really did feel like we were closer to God.
Yes.
The peace and quiet was just it was just the most serene place. And we will put pictures out on our 3 Mile Per Hour podcast, Facebook and Instagram.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love that. When my friend Jessica asked me where I would think would be a good place, I was like, beach or mountains?
Yes.
Which one's closer? The mountains.
Yeah.
If we're driving, it's going to have to be the mountains. But then I thought to myself, I go to Pagosa Springs with my family on our Fun Valley trip, and it's so fun. But I'm with my kids.
Yeah.
And so hot tubs for kids are a different ball game than, and I know how healing they are. So I was like, if I could experience anything in the mountains that I, just by myself or with the Lord or with other women, it would be the hot springs at Pagosa.
Oof. Yeah.
And
You're speaking
the Lord
my
worked
language.
it out. I was so happy
Yes.
that the Lord worked it out that would happen.
It was wonderful. And the weather for it was wonderful.
It was.
It was just perfect. Just perfect.
Well, Katie, can you tell us kind of how the women's retreat came about?
Sure.
Okay.
So my friend Jessica Watson and I, she also lives in Happy. We have...
Wait a minute. I don't know if our Pacers know the town you live in.
I know.
Maybe you've said it before, but it's so cute.
Happy, Texas, the town without a frown. No, that's on a billboard outside of our town. So that's why anybody who's been there is like, oh, the town without a frown. And I'm like, but is it?
I know. Don't catch me on a school morning.
Right? I know, yeah. For sure.
The boys.
Goodness, or don't catch my boys on a school
That's what
morning.
I meant. Like, yeah.
So in our cute little town, and it's tiny, it's pretty dang tiny. We have a little Bible study that we've been doing for over a year now, which is great. And Jessica has just come into this leadership role through that so quickly and so passionately. It's definitely a gift of hers.
Yes.
And
well, she was a teacher.
Yeah.
yes, she was a high school history teacher in Amarillo. So she was at Amarillo High, which is huge.
Yeah, that's where my kids go.
The school itself is like 10 times the size of our town, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's 500 roughly
Okay.
in each class.
In each class. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
Which, how many did y'all graduate with?
In Claude,
Yes.
Kyla and I graduated with a large class, and it was 32.
Ooh, we
I
had
had
25.
21. So I don't even know what 500 would feel like. That would
Case's
be,
class is big and Happy, and it's 21.
Yeah.
Wow.
21 or 22, and Crew's class in Happy is 13.
Wow.
It's small.
We're not talking about a classroom. We're talking about the whole grade.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
grade.
Great, exactly. But I always brag that I was top 10.
Me too.
I was number
For
10.
ours. Yes.
Right after the kid that couldn't speak in the wheelchair. But
That's true. So in our cute little town, we have a little Bible study going with about 9 or 10 women that come regularly, which is great. It's amazing.
huge.
We love it. And it's kind of prepared our hearts for just allowing the Lord to tell us what he wants to talk about, which I have experience in that from doing this podcast for almost 2 years.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And actually, the topic of the women's group came from an episode that I did on this podcast.
Yes.
We've started going to TCF, Tulia Christian Fellowship, in a little town about 12 miles from Happy. And it is just an amazing, Holy Spirit filled, sweetest little church. They have 2 services because they have enough
Wow.
attendance that come both services. They could probably do 3, but they have 2 services, and they do a children's ministry for over 30 years that has just blown up. It is so huge in that town.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome.
It's for littles and for teenagers. And it is like statistically, it is like just blowing people's minds, because usually I can't remember what the statistics are, but like a church family that has so many kids, they have about, 80% of that come to youth on a Wednesday night or a Sunday night, whenever they have it. For TCF, they have over 100% of what their statistics should be of kids showing up.
Wow.
They have kids showing up weekly whose parents don't ever attend, maybe have never attended. They are just full of kids every Wednesday night.
And they're, that.
I mean, the Lord has blessed it intensely. So, and we didn't know any of that whenever we first started going there. We just wanted to try it out. Some friends said, we think you'll like it. Would you give it a try? And we did. That was over 2 years ago. And it's just been immediately where we felt like, yeah, this is where we need to be right now. So 3 years ago, Clay was asked to go on men's retreat through that church because they do men's retreat for all the men in that area. You do not have to be part of that church. In fact, they used to meet up with 2 or 3 other churches from like Dalhart and I don't even know where, but the men's retreat was just men from all areas and they would all meet together in Red River. And so Clay had been asked to go a couple of times and it didn't work out. Then that first year we went. And men's retreat is in June, and we started going to that church in May. So he's been 3 times.
Wow.
And every single time, or maybe he's been 2, but asked to go 3. But every single time that he would come back, I'm like, this is amazing. This is a different man.
Wow.
And so then whenever we started going to church there, I was like, what is there for women?
Right.
Not much. But women are the busy. I mean, we have people who take care of their home and people who have a lot to do on your agenda. It's just rare that you find time, especially for moms who still have kids in the home or working women who have, don't get off till later and then it's supper time and bedtime. It's just really hard to fit it in a schedule. So I didn't really... we had started our little Bible study and there was a Bible study and I was invited to speak at the Bible study, at a different Bible study at the church a couple of times. And that was great. And it helped people get to know me a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's not much for women, hardly at all. And so then we started talking and hanging out with the Watsons. And then they needed a church. They were going to a different church and they hadn't been in a while and they needed a different church to go to. And we just said, try it. Of course, they loved it. They've been going for over a year. Their first year to go was maybe the first men's retreat or the second men's retreat that Clay went on. They came back and Justin got rebaptized immediately.
Wow. How powerful.
I mean, it just was life-changing for both of our husbands.
Wow.
So then we're talking about it and we're like, and this was a year ago.
Yeah.
We were like, why isn't there a women's retreat? Well, we asked the pastor and his wife, which are amazing people. We love them. They're great friends of ours now. And they were like, well... we've tried. We don't have a lot of response. We just haven't really made that connection. But you guys, would you be interested in doing it? And me and Jessica looked at each other like, what? And we kind of brushed it off and walked away and were like, that's strange, but we couldn't quit thinking about it. And we would always talk about it like, see, it would just be so great if we could have a women's retreat.
Yeah.
And being from a different town also, we didn't know the women in that church that well.
Yeah.
And we weren't really getting to know them that well because you spend, an hour and a half there, maybe 2.
Of preacher talking, y'all talking.
A little bit of mingle time. And you meet people randomly and you so-and-so knows so-and-so. We just didn't get connected with any of the women.
Yeah. It's just a hello and niceties and a hug or good to see you.
And that really chewed on me and Jessica's hearts. We were like, it made us sad. We were like, man, we would love to get to know these women. There's a lot of families here.
Yeah.
So we continued to pray about it. Well, we took the pastor and his wife to lunch one day after church. And we were all sitting there, and Jessica brought it up again. And she said, we really want a women's retreat, and we think that it would have some response. Mm-hmm. And they looked us both in the eye and said, you do it.
Wow.
And we were like,
Gulp.
but I mean, who's going to do the talking? And they were like,
You
do it. I mean, we were just like, what? Goodness. Well, lo and behold, the Lord had a perfect plan the whole time, because Jessica was a high school history teacher. So putting together lesson plans is like her gift.
Oh, yeah.
She,
before ChatGTP did it for us.
yes.
Yeah.
She already like had a bit of a structure in mind, which of course, y'all know me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, sit me down, give me a cup of coffee and the Bible, and I'll tell you anything you need to know that I know.
Yeah.
Right.
We can chat.
Yeah.
So I have that to bring to the table, which feels like not enough for a women's retreat for sure.
Yeah.
She has this whole like structure.
Curriculum
Yes.
side. Yes.
And just her brain is just on a different level than mine. And so merging those two was so incredible and so much fun. We had so much fun. So for probably 8 months, we planned this, and the Lord really just gave us the perfect structure, the perfect topic. The topic of the weekend was called Wholehearted. And so we knew we wanted to touch on women's hearts.
Yeah. Can
Because-
we just say really quick?
Yeah.
When we got there, we were greeted, like Hannah was saying, she felt like just so spoiled rotten, and not just with the deer, but you girls like made the most amazing, cute little things for us. Can
Yeah,
we tell
like the
everybody real
welcome
quick?
sign?
Yes.
Yes.
So the icon or logo, if I can say that, is the heart on fire.
Like a burning heart.
Yeah, like a burning heart. And so everywhere had these beautiful, like rainbow colored hearts on fire.
Yes.
And so we had a welcome poster put out there. Jessica's husband made an 8-foot cross
Yes.
that they put out in front of the home that we stayed at. Well, the resort. My gosh.
Yes.
It was a large
It was
home.
a large home.
Yeah, 3 stories. And then when we got into our big group session, they handed us each a guide or an itinerary with our names and
They were hand painted, every single one of them individually.
We had so much fun doing that too.
y'all did it like y'all did it by hand, and then we had little goodie bags with our names on it.
That was
And-
all Jessica. Jessica
Yeah.
Oh
did the
my
goodie bag.
goodness!
Well, I want to back up even further, because the preparation, we had a Facebook group that everybody was invited on so we could see, and Jessica had posted every once in a while. When it got closer, she would post every day, but it was just in preparation. What do you need to pack? She called out every woman by name.
I know.
And prayed for them.
Yes.
So before we felt seen, we felt like unique individuals.
Known.
We felt known. We felt loved. All of those things were happening before we even got to the location. And I just thought, oh God, you're doing something very special here. Very special, very intentional.
Yes.
And I am supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And so are these women.
Yes.
And so I started to pray for each woman, that I could see within the group, and call out them by name, and just what they were going to receive from the Lord, whatever he was going to do within their hearts.
Yeah.
I actually prayed for our hearts to be broken,
Yeah.
so that he could, come in and fill those places where he needed to fill them.
Yes. And piece it all back together his way.
His way.
Well, that
Yes.
just reminded me of the refiner's fire.
Yes.
Like it,
Yes.
it burns away the impurities and shows the beautiful perfection.
Yes.
Whenever they had told us, you plan it, and we had finally said, okay, and we began the planning process, I told you girls to pray with us about
Yes.
that. And immediately Rachel was like, I want to go.
Yeah, I invited
And I could
myself.
cry thinking about it, because it was so special to me that you girls wanted to. I'm like, this isn't your church. This isn't your, but
No,
I mean,
I
just
felt like
your
I was
eagerness.
butting in, but I was like,
No.
oh, I want to be part of it.
I'm so glad. It meant so much to me.
Good. That makes me happy.
Yes.
And we did get to watch you lead, and whoa.
Oh, yes. And whoa.
It was awesome.
Well, so we began talking about wholehearted, and there were times we did ask ChatGPT.
Sure.
If you could break down a wholehearted relationship with the Lord into bits and pieces. And so ChatGPT gave us several suggestions of what the Bible says about the heart. Mm-hmm. And it talked about brokenhearted. It talked about just so many different things about the heart. And we chose 5 of those. Well, we had the wholehearted, so we chose 4. The 4 that we chose, which we can talk about that on a different episode because it's pretty profound and pretty powerful whenever it's all put together. Mm-hmm. But the very first night that we got there, we had worship and we talked about the guarded heart and where, we tend to build our own walls up, maybe to keep ourselves protected, mm-hmm. but what that the Lord is trying to bring in, are we keeping out? Mm-hmm. And is being guarded always the best scenario? And if we are going to guard our hearts, what does the word say about that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that was night 1, first topic. And
Can I say something that hit me during the session?
Yes.
We talked specifically about the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, until it was spoken, I didn't really think about it. But whenever you put up a guard, it's hard to let things in or out.
Yes.
And so you can't get filled if you have such a wall up.
Yeah.
So then you really suffer, mm-hmm. Silently.
Isolation.
It is isolation. And then it brings death.
Yeah.
And life cannot come to it.
Yes.
So to have that gate open you do need boundaries.
Yes.
So I'm thinking of boundaries as the fence, mm-hmm. but a gate that you can open or shut,
yes.
At the appropriate times.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Was so profound in my just thought.
Yeah.
But
even in that scenario, it doesn't keep the enemy out, because in the Bible, it talks about I'm thinking of Song of Solomon, and it talks about the little foxes that come into the vineyard mm-hmm. and tear things up.
Right.
The enemy is the fox that can jump the fence.
Yeah.
So even though
you think you're protected and you're doing your best,
the enemy's jumping in and tearing stuff up until you shoo him out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you also keep the Lord out.
Yeah, you do.
And that's where healing is, mm-hmm. So you have chaos going inside and it can't, the healer can't get in if you don't open the gate.
Yeah. So first session went amazing.
Yeah.
Was so awesome. The Lord laid on our hearts worship songs for each session. We had evening session, morning, evening, and then we left. So we had 5 sessions.
Yeah.
That's why we chose the wholehearted was the 5th session. And everything leading up to that brought it all to that, mm-hmm. climax. And so wounded heart was first. The next morning we did the divided heart. And the way that the Lord told us to structure it, we did, in the evening time, we did a whole group session, and then we broke down into small groups and individual time. Well, in the morning, we did our individual time, and then the small group, and then the session. And so a lot of the questions in your individual booklets were questions that were either going to lead you up to that session, or the evening ones were breaking down what we had talked about in that session, mm-hmm. or what you had talked about in your small group time. And I thought at first that was going to be confusing. I didn't know if I liked that very good, but I think it ended up being an amazing way to structure it. Mm-hmm. So we did the divided heart next. Then we did the wounded heart. Ooh, that was a powerful one. Mm-hmm. Then we did the surrendered heart, and then walking wholeheartedly. And the Lord just prepared so many amazing verses. We kept going back to either Hagar in the wilderness, where she found the God who sees me. And we kept going back to the rich young ruler.
Yeah.
Who walked away sad.
Yep.
This close to surrender. This close to walking wholeheartedly with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
And decided it was going to be too hard. So, anyway, I just feel like the Lord structured it so well. And Jessica and I had amazing time together processing all of this and deciding which questions we should have in our discussions, deciding, just even asking the Lord which verses he wanted to go, which worship songs he wanted to go with each of those topics. And it was so, so healing. But I remember it was like our second time to sit down and plan, and we had gone over the divided heart, and it was so good. Oh my goodness. I needed it so much. And then we left, and we were talking on the way to the grocery store together, and I can't remember if she brought it up or I brought it up, but we were talking about a walk to Emmaus, and both of us have been on one, but our husbands haven't and our families haven't. And I said, this place that the Lord had shown us, we had found our place by this time, and it has a lake within, a couple miles on the property. It had, oh my gosh, it just had everything. It had the mountains, it had the lake, it had the deer, it had a fox, it had chipmunks, it had a hummingbird just for me.
And a horse.
And a horse just grazing around, and all these deer. We saw elk.
Yep. Tons of elk.
It was perfect. And this cute little Labrador that just waved at me one day. It felt like it was so cute. It was so picture perfect. But we thought of the cross, and we were like, how awesome would it be if we had a cross for the women to take their, just lay stuff down at.
Yep.
And so we both cried talking about that. And we looked over at each other, and we're like both crying, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. But just how special it is to actually physically see. And so for Justin to take the time, and Jessica too, to build us an 8-foot cross that we strapped down, carried up there in the bed of the pickup. We put a solar light on it. That way it could, if people wanted to go after the evening sessions and it was dark, it wouldn't be too dark for them to go. We found the perfect place to set it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was. And it reminded me of my church, because we do have a cross with a hammer and nail and a piece of paper. Wow. And whatever you want to nail to the cross, you can go up there and do that. So I thought, man, this is cool. I love that they did this. So,
well, our goal for the whole thing was self-reflection. Our goal was not to preach. It was not to magnify anything else, but our goal, when we thought about a retreat for a woman, which is very hard to do.
Yeah, it is.
Our goal was searching the inner self, which is the heart. We know the lev,
Yes.
our inner authority. And that was the topic that I had talked about on here, that I thought if there's anything that resonates with all women, it's my own inner authority. Where is it? What has it? Where am I guarding it? Where am I dividing it? Different things. And so it wasn't to preach. It wasn't to stand up and shout different Bible stories or anything like that. Most of what the Lord led us through in that was questions. Ask yourself this. Could the Lord be wondering this? What are you taking authority over in your inner self? What has just those things? And then once you've kind of sorted through some of that, ask the Lord what he wants to do with it. Where are you needing to obey him more? Where are you needing to obey him at all?
Yeah.
And also know that just because your thing with the Lord is really, really speaking to you right now, someone else's is absolutely different.
Yeah.
So we're not comparing. We're not trying to all just get on the same page. We are just all trying to get our hearts to the cross.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Right.
And so when we decided we wanted them to take things to the cross, the Lord told us to have a piece of paper and an envelope. And the men's retreat is where we got this from. But they write kind of goals and things they're asking the Lord for to do in their lives, which is also kind of what we did. And then nobody ever sees it. And then it gets mailed back to them within a couple of months or 6 months or whatever it is. And so they can self-reflect on what all the Lord has done for them since their retreat.
So cool.
And so we had prompts, we had questions.
Yeah.
Break this question down with the Lord, just you and the Lord. This is your answer. You can do more, but at least do this. And so for every session, 5 sessions, there were 5 questions. And then at the very end, I was like, I think it would be awesome to leave a prayer, because I thought of us at the Wailing Wall in Israel and how special it was that we left those prayers. And we still, all 4 of us will be like, that was in your Wailing Wall prayer.
Remember it, yeah.
When things like when Hannah got married, we're like, your Wailing Wall prayer is being answered, just all the different things. And so I was like, let's put a prayer. So we ended it with a prayer, and then each woman brought her envelope to the bucket at the cross and just dropped it in there. And I can't wait to see.
Me too.
I can't wait to hear stories of what the Lord does between now and then for all 23 women who showed up.
Yeah. One thing that I was thinking of as you were speaking was, whenever the Lord asks a question in the Bible, He already knows the answer. Like, he knows, but He needs you to know. He needs you to search your heart. He needs you to open that conversation with Him.
Right.
And He needs you to give Him an invitation. And that's what we're beginning to break down in each woman individually, is giving that invitation to the Lord to invite Him in with these questions in mind, and think, okay, where am I truly at? Where is my heart really?
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I really wanted to hone in on the structure, because it's so hard for women to get there.
Yes.
To even say yes. And so our time there, I felt like it was very valuable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be wasting time. I don't want to be, it doesn't need to be a party. Exactly. It really was very intentional. I love the way that it was set up, but I wanted to tell you that was important to me because of the results that we got. So even the dynamic of starting with the guarded heart, it was really smart, because it made women think, okay, let down your guard.
Yeah.
And that set up the whole rest of the weekend.
Yeah, it did.
Because in our big group, Katie and Jessica would ask these questions. They would pose the questions and let us respond. And so our sessions went way longer than they had prepared.
Way longer.
And I bet they threw out, I'm going to say 60 to 70% of their itinerary to allow room for the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And so even the preacher's daughter came and said, I've never experienced anything like this, where you all have allowed room for us to engage. And she said, I've been to all kinds of church camps, all kinds of women's retreats in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And this one is different.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she actually led prayer. She felt comfortable enough to allow Holy Spirit to work, and led a prayer over women who had been abused, specifically sexually abused.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
The healing in that. Whoa.
there were several of us.
Yeah,
You
like
guys
6
know
or
my
7.
story.
Yeah.
Yes, there were several of us in the floor, just bawling, getting prayed over by these other women, because by the end of the 4 days, it didn't take long. And for you women that are out there that say, I don't like other women, girls are mean, you feel rejected, or you feel like they don't want you around, whatever the case may be, or that you just don't like how they're gossipy or whatever.
Yeah.
we got a whole new experience with women on this retreat because we were real with each other. We were vulnerable. I don't think anybody talked about abuse. I think I mentioned it just barely briefly, but it wasn't the major topic of conversation. But in our small groups, we were able to, and the small groups were 3 people.
Yeah.
I mean, they were small.
I can't remember how many there were, but there were
7.
Okay, 7.
Hannah was number 7. I was like, of course you are complete and perfect.
You perfect thing.
Yes. I think mine was number 3.
But the Lord led that too completely because we allowed women to choose who they wanted to room with. We had 10 rooms. We had 10 rooms out of 12. We could have had another if we needed it. Because there's a host family that lives there in one of the rooms, but there were 12 rooms in that home and they were more like apartments, but felt homier than that. Yeah. It's very hard to explain, but, that ground level floor had 6 rooms. One was taken by the host family. And then it had a large kitchen, large living room. Thankfully, it had a huge game room upstairs, which was big enough for us to rearrange and all sit together, which that was another thing as a leader. I was like, if I'm going to be speaking in front of women, do not give me a podium. Do not give me a stage. Do not give me a microphone.
Yeah.
I can do the podcast now, but even that's been a struggle. But I am not a stage dweller. I'm just not. I do better sitting eye to eye, and we ask you to answer.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't want to be the teacher.
Spotlight.
Right.
We wanted to be facilitating, but we did not want to be teaching.
And you did that. You were not even in a group.
Yeah.
You went ahead and took out the trash and cleaned up the dishes and like did the things that moms are normally doing or wives are normally doing.
It was so smart.
While we were doing our small group.
Yes.
But I wanted to say that the small group, the dynamic in the small group was so intimate and I think opened up opportunity to speak in the big group. And you guys allowed time for that.
Well, that's why we chose to not have you familiar with each other.
Yeah.
We chose to do the small groups, just very small. And if you were in a room with each other, you were not in a small group with each other.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how that would be received at first, but we knew we had prayed really, really hard. Lord, work through that. Like give people, anybody who's too insecure without their bestie, give them, the courage to sit in a small group with someone they don't know.
Right. To have a voice and to open up.
Well, one girl only came because her best friend was going and it was her birthday that weekend. So that was her only reason for coming.
There were 4 of them. The birthday girl and 3 of her friends who came just because it was her birthday.
Realize it was the other 2 also. Okay. I knew they all came together, but that's cool. And I don't want to put out names or specific scenarios. We actually, it was such an intimate time that you don't share those with everybody. And we're definitely not going to air things on the podcast, but we did ask permission and I get to tell my story. It was just so fun. Of just God working through, like Hannah was saying, she felt it before it happened. And 8 months of preparation, guys, that's a long time. And I'm so proud of you because it showed.
It did.
Thank you.
In every detail. The food.
Yes. Right.
So smart and so good. And it just flowed so well. Yes.
I'm kind of glad I had no other preconceived notions of a women's retreat. I've never been on a women's retreat.
Oh my gosh.
I've been and heard like a woman speaker with some of my friends or been to a concert with some of my girlfriends, Christian concert where they preach and talk and have a good time. I've been to those, but I've never been on a women's retreat before.
Wow.
And I've never even been to I've never taken a women's trip with my church. So this was a first for me. I don't know if it was for Jessica or not, but it was a first for me. So I had no preconceived notions of what it should have been like.
Yeah.
I only know what the Holy Spirit wanted that one to be like.
No, as a guest, it was as if you had been, this was your job and that you had done it a million times and y'all had seen what worked, what didn't work, how to structure things, it was just so absolutely perfect.
Thank you.
It really was. So while we were getting ready in this Facebook women's group, this women's group Facebook page that we had, somebody posed the question, are we carpooling? And my stomach immediately knotted up. Like, no.
8 hours.
I
8-hour
do
carpool.
not want somebody in my space. I want to stop when I want to stop, not when you want to stop.
Right.
I'm driving for sure. Even if we're taking a bus,
Right.
I'll follow your bus.
Right.
That's
How do we travel, Rach? Like, you see some people and they're like, how much mileage did you get? Or what kind of time were you on?
Yeah,
Did
you made good time.
Yep. Did you not stop to potty at all? How cool. No,
You do
that's
have
not.
No. Do you have an infection now because you didn't stop to pee? Sorry for you. No, Hannah and
truckers
I,
out there.
Yes.
All you truckers say those things.
Yes.
and that's their job.
I know.
I get that. But when I'm taking a trip, I don't want to make good time. I want to have a good time.
Right.
The trip is part of the testimony. You know, it is part of the destination.
Yes.
For me, I love a road trip.
Yes.
too.
And even in business, when I could fly, I would normally want to drive because I like to stop at the boutiques. I like to stop at the cool coffee shops. You know, just I like to listen to my book on tape.
Yeah.
It just I have a way I like to do things and be comfortable.
Yeah, and
and
travel.
my favorite things. And luckily, Hannah and I are very similar. We like to travel the same way.
Yes.
And we didn't grow up taking trips as a family, really. She would go with Pop and Granny some, but it just, we didn't take trips a lot. So it means a lot to me when I can take a trip. Mm-hmm. So to see that question with somebody I don't know, I was like, please, anyone else answer? Please, anyone. Hello.
Where are the volunteers? Yeah.
Exactly. So like 3 hours later, I finally responded. I did pray about it because I was like, stop it, Rachel. Quit being such a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, get out of your comfort zone. You're about to spend all weekend with these women. Why not ride with some of them? You know? And I didn't know if Kai was coming. I didn't know if you needed a ride because I can seat 6, but with luggage, I thought 4.
Yeah.
In my perfect scenario, it was the 4 of us riding together.
I know.
Of course.
That was in my head the whole time.
But Katie had to leave early and prepare.
Right.
So she and Jessica were carrying the Sam's Haul.
Yes.
And it was,
We took 2 pickups because we were like, okay, your pickup can hold the cross and this much stuff.
yeah.
And my friend Cheryl, her pickup, brand new pickup that she let me drive, and it practically drove itself. It was insane.
It's cool.
Hauled the rest of the Sam's Haul.
It's amazing.
Yes.
So I responded. First, I checked with side text, obviously, with my girls to check their scenario. And Hannah wanted to ride with me, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Like,
Well,
did I
Kyla was like, yes, if I'm coming, I'm riding with you girls, kind of a thing too. But then didn't end up getting to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put out there, I have room for 2. And so I got a response. No, actually, I didn't get a response. Jessica was like, hey, why don't you check with Rachel? She says she has room for 2. And I'm like, oh, dang it. So a lady named Lisa responded and said, can my cousin and I ride with you? And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Family, yes. And I was like, as long as you like country music and lots of stops, then yes, you can. But of course, it came with my caveat.
Yeah.
Because that's just how I roll. So, and actually, Hannah and I like a book on tape, and we did listen to a great one.
We did.
We did, and it was called Woven. I'm going to go ahead and say who it was because
Yeah, do tell.
It's worth repeating.
I've been meaning to share it with y'all.
Oh, it's so good. It's called Woven: Understanding the Bible as One Seamless Story by Angie Smith. And this girl was funny, and it was an easy read, but she gives a little synopsis of every single book of the Bible.
Wow.
And it's like 7 hours or so. So it was great for the road trip. We actually didn't even finish it because we didn't listen straight through. We conversated.
Yes.
So Lisa lives in Tulia, which is 45 minutes from Amarillo. And you have to go through Amarillo to get to Pagosa.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, if you can come to Amarillo, you can leave your car and we'll ride together. So anyway, the morning of the trip, I had still not ever met Lisa. we just knew each other from Facebook, and her cousin wasn't able to make it. So it was just her little brave heart coming with two strangers alone. So of course we met, got her packed up, and she was just like so kind, but also quiet as a mouse.
Yes.
Like Hannah and I were being sisters, and we were having our inside jokes,
Right.
and our stupid laughs and movie quotes, things that Lisa probably would not understand.
Right.
But she was just, every time I was like, hey, are you good back there? I'm great. Hey, she wouldn't even change the temperature. Like, she didn't want to disturb at all.
Wow.
And I was like, hey, here, it's hot, getting hot
Make
now.
Make yourself comfortable.
Yes, please. That seat reclines. Anyway, so it felt a little bit of a disconnect on the way there, but still good.
Yeah.
You know, and Hannah and I just did our own thing. So
I was texting y'all and you said, we're stopping at Trader Joe's. And I'm like, dang it, I should have rode with him. Good for y'all.
that was
Yes,
so fun.
it was.
We made the most of the trip. And we found a cute coffee shop in Santa Fe.
Yes. But my favorite was the one that was already there. It was called Higher Ground.
Yeah, we went to that one too.
In Pagosa.
Yes.
It was amazing. So the point I'm getting at is the road trip there was good.
Yeah.
And I was happy. But then I didn't really think about when we go on our excursions, Lisa also needs to ride with us. She doesn't have a ride.
Oh yeah, let me say that real quick.
Yeah.
So part of the structure of the day was we would have a morning session and an evening session, but we had 5 hours of free time. And we got that from the men's retreat too, because they like to take their side by sides and go mountain climbing, and Clay and Justin took their golf clubs and went golfing, and they have a good time.
Yeah.
It's not just intense the entire time, but it is purposeful.
Yes.
And then you have your free time, and then you get back together, then another day of free time. So there were 2 days of 5 hours of free time.
Yes.
Which was so needed. And
Perfect.
It was great.
Still didn't feel like enough.
Yeah, I know.
Pagosa is so fun.
Yes.
But that first Friday, so we went Thursday night. Friday, we had our trip to Pagosa Springs, hot springs. Oh, it was so amazing.
And they were so kind to give us a group discount.
Yes.
We didn't even know if we would have enough people. They had a limit on their group discount, but they were kind enough to give us that discount even if we didn't have enough.
Oh, yeah.
No,
They were so great.
people.
Well, so Hannah's like, hey, don't forget Lisa. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't know.
Well, you had made other plans with another friend who was close by, so you weren't thinking.
My best friend from Austin lives in Durango, which is an hour from Pagosa. So I hadn't seen her in years. She battled breast cancer since I saw her. Like, I could not wait. And I told her I'm coming, and she's like, I'm there.
Yes.
And she's like, how many days? Oh, can I come stay with you? You know, I was like, well, it's not that kind of thing, but let's do definitely Pagosa Springs and maybe lunch the next day. So even though we had our own group there, I had my own plans. I always do. So I was kind of rushed. Our morning meeting went like 30 minutes longer, and she was meeting us. So I was a little frazzled already.
Yep.
So Hannah's like, don't forget Lisa. I'm like, oh yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. So I texted Lisa. She was out there waiting for us before we were even ready. And just the sweetest soul. And so on the road trip, it's like 15 miles into town.
Yeah.
We were talking. I was asking her what she was thinking about the retreat because she'd never been. But she said that she has served in TCF. Is that how you say it? For many, many years. And she cooks over 20 years. Wow. So she runs the children's ministry.
Yes.
And her favorite place to stop and shop is Dollar General because she can buy gifts and toys for the kids.
Yes.
Like, what a sweetheart.
Yes.
And then she cooked for the teenagers.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was excited to go on this trip. She'd never done anything like it. And that was another thing I wanted to say is when you are involved in your church, it's hard to get away. In your home, same way it's hard to get away. Hannah was like, oh, my preacher's going to be wondering where I'm at.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be asking me when I come back, were
And my
you cheating on us?
3-year-old is going to be wondering where I'm at.
Yes.
That's a hard thing to do as a mom.
It was the first time that I had ever left her and not slept with her.
No, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. We both
Even
grew
your
up a
husbands
little.
are like, where's mom at?
Exactly. Let's call her.
Yeah.
On her retreat. Anyway, so on the trip into town, Lisa said, I wasn't going to tell anybody this, but I told my small group, and I'll share with you guys. She said, I told them that I've been smoking my whole life since I was
13
years old. I was going to say 11, but yeah, since I was 13 years old, and I quit twice, and it was when I was pregnant. And she said, but I just felt the Lord telling me that I need to quit smoking. And so actually on the trip to your house, Rachel, on the way from Tulia to Amarillo, I smoked my last cigarette. And Hannah and I looked over at each other because you guys know my story. And I don't know if I've mentioned it enough, but I have mentioned it out loud to hundreds of people because I have a strong opinion about smoking and smokers. So my abuser was a heavy smoker. And when I smell cigarettes, I equate it with dirty, maybe it's a little bit of shame and anger. And so I misdirect that brokenness at the smoker.
That it's a visceral,
it is
uncontrollable.
I get a headache
instantly.
I mean, it is an attack on me when I smell cigarette smoke. And I have to work very hard to overcome it and separate it from
The person.
Yeah. And the events that surrounded that person.
Yeah.
And so Hannah and I looked at each other and just smiled.
Cheshire cat, like I couldn't. My smile was so big. My eyes were wide. Just like, whoa.
So we let her finish telling her story about how she smoked from Tulia to Canyon and had to stop and get gas. And Canyon's like 15 minutes from my house. And she said, so I smoked half my cigarette. And then tell me why I couldn't find my lighter when I got back in the car. So I didn't get to finish that cigarette. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, Hannah, should I tell her? Hannah's like, yeah, tell her. So I told her my story and I was like, had you showed up at my home and had she been getting in and out of my car smelling like smoke, it would have really positioned my heart in a way that was very negative. And I would have been regretting my choice to
retreat,
to even go, or to allow somebody in my space, because that's my guarded heart.
Right.
And that is you do not come ruin my peace.
Right.
And I do guard my inner circle very carefully. And like I have lost friends over the years, and I have gained closeness with other friends because I've asked them to step up. If you're going to hang out with me, we're not going to talk about everybody negatively.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow it.
Right.
I'm not going to engage with you if you're doing it. I just have a very blunt way of speaking to people.
Yes.
And very strong feelings and opinions.
Yeah.
And sweet Lisa, I was like, I just cannot believe that God was working on you while he was working on me.
Yeah.
Like it brought tears to my eyes because I was like, no way. Did God tell you, a smoker of your whole life, and this woman's in her 50s? Probably.
Yes.
She's got a grandson living with her. Anyway, and her husband smokes. I mean, smokers know it's a part of your life.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like part of your DNA by the time you smoke that long. It's who you are.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of your life works around getting cigarettes, smoking cigarettes.
Time off your trip to stop and smoke if you're not in your own car.
Absolutely. So we just laughed at how cool God was to set us both up for an amazing retreat. Right? Like working on her while he's working on me. Yes. What?
And the pleasure that she was. the sweet, kind-hearted,
Yes.
beautiful woman that she was. And she wasn't anxious. She wasn't mad or angry. She wasn't jonesing for the next hit of her cigarette. I mean, you couldn't read that on her at all.
Had no
I know
clue.
the fact that you guys had no clue is amazing.
Yeah.
No clue. And it was just really cool. Like Hannah said, Lisa even said, I haven't been craving. Like, God has given me this gift. And now it's been weeks since our trip and we still keep in touch.
Yes.
She's still in our Facebook chat
Yeah.
and she's got our numbers. And she's like, hey, I actually still haven't smoked.
Yep.
And
I've
God
made it this far.
And she's like, God's made it easy for me.
Yes.
Like, what a blessing. Like, mind blown for me.
Yeah.
And just like you had a moment on the trip where you're like, this was just for me,
For me,
Katie.
the Lord loves us.
Yes.
He does that. He did that in our Israel trip. So I knew to expect it.
Oh, yeah.
I knew to expect the Lord to just give me a little kiss and you and you. And Jessica and I had been praying for each lady to have their own special moment with the Lord, whatever that was. Only the Lord could know you and do that with you. But Cheryl and my friend Stacy Wilson and I, we all have a text every year to compete for who gets the first hummingbird of the year because we're hummingbird lovers. I hadn't gotten mine yet. Cheryl had gotten the first one, which I'm glad the Lord did that for her. She needed it in that moment.
And she loves to win.
Yes,
can
she
tell.
loves.
Yes,
She's
Cheryl was a roommate too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then Cheryl had a moment with you girls. So Rachel and Hannah, how many years ago
Oh, God.
did you get your prophecy?
I was single. So probably 7 or 8 years ago.
The first time Hannah and Rachel ever went to Arena Church with Kyla and I.
And your mentor,
And
Rick,
our mentor,
who you
Rick.
talk about quite a
Yes.
lot.
We had invited them. We wanted them to know him and him to know them. And our little arena church that we were always referring to, we wanted them to know them.
Yeah.
And so they came one night. I can't remember what the event was for, but a couple of people were prophesying. And I think that some of them prophesied over people out loud. Rick is always speaking prophetic word, and it's usually scripture. So not like a weird,
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but that's why Kyla and I were like, these girls could love this.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the girls had gotten a prophetic word that night, and I thought it was someone else. And they thought it was Cheryl.
Yeah.
And of course, now Cheryl wants to be that person. And she is. She does speak prophetically, even though she doesn't realize she is. She blesses people and she tells them what the word says about the next step. And that is, to me,
Yeah.
the definition of prophecy.
Yeah. Let me
So-
just say real quick. This person prayed over us and then sent a prophetic word to Rick. And Rick
Yes.
shared it with me via text and
Okay.
Hannah via
Yeah.
text.
Yeah.
So that's why it wasn't spoken over us immediately.
Yeah. And that's kind of the structure of how they do things. They pray over people and let the Lord tell them what he wants to say about this person. And it
Okay.
ends up being prophetic.
Yes.
But it's really just them praying and the Holy Spirit bringing the words. That's great prophecy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they thought Cheryl had sent this prophetic word to them 7 years ago. And so they told Cheryl about it. And Cheryl was like, oh, I wish that was me. That's my friend Stacy. So Cheryl gets on the phone with Stacy and
Who's in your hummingbird group.
yes, who's back at home. Yep.
Yeah.
And so she's telling Stacy all about this. And Stacy's like, oh, I just got a hummingbird. And Cheryl's like, what? And she's like, literally, as you're talking, a hummingbird just came to my house.
Yes.
So I'm failing the competition miserably. But I knew I've got my feeders out. I'm ready. I don't care if I'm last. I'm still going to have hummingbirds. Well, I'm standing outside on a rock, a huge rock, and looking out over the mountains as y'all were doing your small group. And day 2, I was actually looking for the fox because I never got to see the fox. Everyone else, Jessica has a video of the fox
I saw it chasing a cat.
up behind my head while I was
Yeah.
talking. I know. Mom's like, I got to see it. And I'm like, you should have told me. And she was like, you were talking. And I'm like, you should have interrupted me. But anyway, I'm standing there in this bright pink sweatshirt, true Katie fashion. And I hear like the zing. They have a certain specific sound because they're so fast. And when they're buzzing, when they're singing, it's like a zing. And so I heard the zing, but I didn't really know for sure. Like, is that crickets? What is that? So then all of a sudden we're talking about how we could not believe how perfectly the Lord put together these small groups and how Rachel had connected specifically with someone in her small group who had abuse, and wow, the Lord put someone with abuse with Rachel.
Yeah.
Why are we not surprised?
Yeah.
How Mom's small group, the Lord put someone who had recently experienced severe loss.
Yeah.
No one but the Lord could have done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We couldn't have planned this any better.
Right. Mine, our hearts connected. They were so alike in our character and how we are. We're kind of in the background a little bit.
Yeah.
Good supporting friends.
Yeah.
Not the main character.
Right. Yes.
And so we all really connected.
See?
Very well.
Only the Lord could have known that
Yes.
Lauren and Monica were perfect for
Yes.
you. I love that. So anyway, we were just praising God together as we let y'all meet together and just what we had known. And this zing comes up and it's like probably a foot from my face. And he looks me in the eye. I think he thought I was a flower because I was bright pink. And then he zooms off.
And you
I was
smell
like,
like honey.
Yeah. And I turned to Jessica and she was like, was that a hummingbird? And I was like, yes. It like almost landed on my shoulder. It was so crazy. But I got my God moment for sure in multiple ways. But that specifically was just for me.
Yeah.
Right. And mine was just for me.
I know.
So it just surprised me that God could surprise me.
I know.
I didn't know that I needed that.
Yeah.
But he knew that I needed it. The Lord knew that I needed that peace, you know, and I wouldn't have had peace had Lisa not had her own inner workings with the Lord talking to her about smoking.
Yes.
Yep.
I love
You know
that.
what? I left, whenever we left for the trip, I had such expectancy for the trip because of the preparation. I just thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
But I left in the middle of a storm going on at home. Kind of one of those things where the enemy's coming at you and he's like, you're not going to get to leave. You're not going to get to go. You're not going to get to be undivided and connected.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep this part of you here, you know, just poking at me. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not listening to you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I have no worries. I can leave. I can have peace in the middle of this storm.
You have a good support system.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I really felt okay. I felt great. I didn't feel worried or have anxious thoughts or anything like that, even though I could have. But the Lord protected me through all of that. Like he was just very close and he was just reassuring me, I got you. This is going to be just fine. Go enjoy what I've prepared for you. And so I thought, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. But what was happening at home, my husband just lost his job. And so we just bought a new house. He loses this job that we prayed for. And I just thought, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's not, you know, I'm not making any income. I take care of Abby and I have massage therapy on the side, but that doesn't even get the bills paid. And so anyway, but again, God came through with this incredible peace during the storm. And I just thought, we'll deal with it whenever we get home.
Wow.
Whatever's going to happen, he's got us through the whole thing. And I had talked to my husband and I felt bad for leaving him because he felt he was in turmoil.
Of course.
You know? And so I thought, man, this is really a horrible time to leave, but that's how I know I need to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so whenever we got back home, you know, my heart had been reset and repostured. And I had got to think about some of the questions that I don't ask myself and the things that I don't think about. I think one thing that hit me really hard is the divided heart. And I didn't understand that maybe a divided heart means that you're distracted and that you're too busy taking care of all the little things and not going back to my words last year, which were room, relationship, and rhythm. And if I don't keep that building block solid and sturdy, if I don't keep that foundation together, then everything else crumbles whenever I'm stepping up to the next thing. And so that's what I had talked about with God on my trip there was, oh, I need to go back to my foundation. I need to make sure that it's strong. And specifically intimacy with God and with Cody. I need to make sure to take out time in my day to spend with both of them.
Yes.
In an intimate way, you know, connect with them, speak with them, let them know. So when I went home, we did have the blow up and it was not good. It was just like, oh, I knew this was coming.
They said this on the retreat, that the men's retreat says it too. Get ready for hell to show up at your door.
Yes.
And the devil to have been working while you're gone.
Yes.
When you get home.
Exactly.
Just know it's coming.
So I did, and I was prepared. I felt prepared, but I thought, you don't know how exactly this is going to go down. But even through that, I felt peace.
Wow.
Good.
I felt like, okay, we can get through this. This is just fine. And really, my heart just broke for my husband because he unleashed everything that he had been feeling and what he thinks. And we're on two totally different pages. I'm not living in the same space that he's living in his head.
Yeah.
You know, we're not, because I'm not seeing the things that he's seeing. I don't feel what he thinks that I feel.
Wow.
And so, because I'm not talking about it, I'm not communicating that.
And he's not telling you what he's feeling.
Right.
Or sparing your feelings.
Right. And so, I just thought, okay, well, you knew that this is exactly what you're going to run into.
Yeah.
But I had no fear of this is it, or he's going to leave me, or he's going to walk out on me, or he's quitting everything. You know, he can't hold anything else together because it's all been on his shoulders and this is how he feels.
Yeah.
And then feeling guilt for not being the helper and helping him hold like he needs to, because I feel like it's all that I can do some days to keep myself together because of things that I've been going through. Just really, we talked about the health thing that I've been struggling with.
Right.
And really it is, I know that I look like I'm functioning just fine, but really it's difficult to even get through a day sometimes.
Yeah.
And, but I need him to understand that. And I need him to know that it's nothing that he did.
Right.
It's not his fault.
Not him.
It's not anything to do with him. Don't take it personally.
Right.
This is not, this is internal. This is something that's hormonal and, vitamin deficient and all these different things, environmental.
And you've always processed internally.
Yes.
That's who you are.
That is who I am.
You don't want to burden anyone. And so you don't like to talk about those things about yourself because you don't want anybody to feel like they need to carry any of that.
Exactly.
Especially your husband, who you feel like is already carrying a lot.
I'm not going to put that on his plate.
Right.
I'm just going to deal with it. Exactly.
Right.
So, but that creates a disconnect, and that creates, and
to where you don't feel seen or known by your husband.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that I talked about Rachel with while we were there at the retreat as well, is being seen and being fully seen and fully known.
Yes.
And I told Rachel, I was like, ooh, I hate the spotlight.
Yeah.
I hate a spotlight. I don't like anybody staring at me. But Cody will. He looks at me all the time. anyway, but
because you're beautiful.
well,
He
to the
can't take
point,
his eyes off
I'm
how
like,
beautiful his wife is.
I'm like, what are you, you're just looking. Are you going to say something or are you going to avert your eyes, please? Because it just makes me feel so uncomfortable, you know,
Quit staring.
to know that I'm being looked at. And I don't know why that is, you know, I don't know, why I'm afraid of being fully seen and fully known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with somebody perfect like Jesus,
Yeah.
I can trust that.
You can.
Yeah.
But with somebody who can't see or feel or know everything and I can't articulate it, that's scary for me because I feel like, no, you don't get it. You don't fully get it.
Right.
But I know that Jesus does.
He
Yeah.
does. Yes.
So that was kind of my intimate breakthrough.
Wow.
Good.
And what I had going on. And then it really helped me. It helped me whenever I got home to get past that
And not crumble.
and not crumble. Yeah. And really, when I tell you I felt a peace through it all, even through the frustration part of it, even through, you know, just the heartbreak part of it, I felt like, okay,
Wow.
that needed to happen. That was necessary.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say was, how long would that conversation have been delayed if you had been in the same routine
Oh,
and coming home every night at him doing the same thing? Like a lot of
because
times
it's easier not to.
it's so much easier. So you stick with the mundane, you stick with the day to day and the status quo. But when people are pressed and pressured, that steam is going to come out
The
somewhere.
good oil
Yes.
comes out too, though.
Yes.
Absolutely. So,
Yes.
because I've had that moment with Jason, where he took a trip away and came back wanting a divorce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, do what now? What?
Yeah.
Where it brought out a conversation that needed to be had where he didn't know how I felt about things. I didn't know how he felt about things. And we were not communicating and understanding each other at all.
Yeah.
And so that time away created space for us to think. But this retreat, like there were 3 people here telling a little bit of our story, but there were 23 stories.
23 amazing stories.
Yes. And the ripple effect of those
Yes.
stories is just amazing because these women said yes.
Yeah.
Yes to this opportunity. And I'm just praying that y'all do it again and keep it going because it was
The Lord will have to do it. The Lord will have to do
course.
it again. And he's too good. You
I know.
He's just too good.
That was my thought. I thought, please come do this for my church because we could use it too. And just the intimacy that it brought with the women.
I want Jessica to publish this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want her to publish it as like a curriculum for other churches
Yeah,
who
a
might
study
want to do
guide.
it because it was so good and so powerful just for us. You would have to have maybe the right facilitators. Yeah. And even my prayer, I'm a little different than you girls because my husband had been on 2 retreats before and he knew how much the enemy was going to come at us because of it. He was already prepared. And he also knew how much it would change me. And his support and his love and his prayers every day was so special. And is my wailing while prayer being answered?
Absolutely. It is.
Amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I love
it sure
that.
is. Yeah.
Jason's the same, like where he knows that God just resets my heart.
Yeah.
And that's better for everybody in the family. And so he's very supportive when I need to get away or come do this podcast.
Yeah.
Like we are 4 different girls who live in 3 different towns coming into another man's home to record our podcast.
Yeah.
It's
awkward.
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And it's a lot to facilitate every single week. But God finds a way, does he not?
Yes.
But it's a lot for a husband to surrender to letting the Lord use your wife too, you know.
Yeah.
And Clay and Jason both have been like, yes, your podcast reaches people. Your podcast reaches you.
Yes.
I mean, he knows I come back and I'm like, you know what? This was the topic. This is what we said, you know. And when I get really excited about it, you know, and I talk to him and it it just changes the dynamic of things so beautifully. And he's okay with that. He loves that.
Yeah, it does. And I talked about in our retreat that the way we react, the way we behave, it affects generations, because we come home to our kids. Guess what they're going to teach their kids?
Yes.
The same things that, like Susie was saying, my dad told me this. So she said that on the podcast last week. So 2 weeks ago. So she remembered what her parents said about the Lord. You know, it's generational. So take the time.
Right.
That's the whole point of this episode. This podcast was not just to say what a good time we had. I'm encouraging our pacers to take the pace that Jesus took, which was a walk. That was really my aha moment coming back from this. Was that whole retreat was modeled after Jesus and his ministry.
Yeah.
Because what did he do? He had sessions. He had small groups, his intimate small groups. Then he preached to the big masses. But where did he prepare? He went away alone to talk with his Father.
Yes.
He ate meals with his best friends. Like when you have that group, it creates an intimacy that they will die for you.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And go out and preach the gospel.
Yeah.
And go to the churches, preach it was just, that was such a revelation for me. Like, a retreat is modeled after Jesus' ministry.
Yes, it is.
That's
Thank
so
you.
true. Thank you for coming. Of
course.
I'm honored that you came.
Yes.
I was honored that all of those women came. Oh my gosh. Was amazing.
What a cool group. And it's an unlikely group. It was an unlikely group of friends. And now we are still weeks later praying for each other, having conversations, sending each other messages.
I know. The dynamic at church was amazing on Sunday.
Yay.
I don't know about the first service. We go to the second service, but the dynamic at church was like complete 180.
The
women
atmosphere
hugging
changed.
women, women smiling across the room at other women.
Yep.
It was so cool. I loved it. And I prayed for that.
I'm sure there's going to be a time where your pastor and his wife are going to say, whoa, we see, because we couldn't see it before. Women just did not connect and we could not get that encouraged and we didn't know how to do it. But now...
And the pastor's wife was messaging me the whole time. And she's like, I'm already hearing about amazing things. Good job. We're praying for you. I mean, her eyes were open to what was the Lord going to do. And she was so excited, and they were praying. And Pastor Rusty, right before we left, so the Sunday before we left on Thursday, he had me and Jessica write out every woman's name. And then we cut those pieces of paper up and he laid them on the altar, and he called an altar call and had people come grab a name. And that was who they prayed for the week.
Wow.
So not only were we praying for each other in the Facebook group by name, not knowing each other, there was someone in our church praying for each one of them by name, not knowing them, or maybe knowing them. I don't know. But it was just incredible. The Lord was working and prayers were happening and warfare was going on our behalf the whole time.
Amazing.
Yes.
I actually had a woman say, I've been praying for you. She was at the retreat. So because I guess she had picked up my name.
Okay.
And so that was so cool to know that somebody that I never knew, she didn't know me, she knew my name.
Yes.
You know?
You could feel it.
Yeah.
I could feel it.
You could feel it. So I'm saying this is important for women, but also for the men.
For men.
I mean, I feel like the
The
devil
whole
is...
family.
Yes. But the devil's strategy and tactic, I feel like in this last few generations, is targeted towards men. And I feel like there's like suicide happening because the devil is attacking men's minds, strong men, even strong men of God.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Him?
Yeah.
You know,
know.
I'm just shook. And it's just heartbreaking because he is finding the best way to devastate a family, which is by the leaders of their home.
Yes.
So I did want to share that we had a couple friends, because Jason has some best friends from high school that we hang out with, and they actually live down in Waxahachie. But they were telling us about a men's retreat called Wild at Heart. And there's a book by John Eldridge called Wild at Heart.
Yes.
Have you read it? I have.
I started it a long time ago. I think that was before I had a husband.
Yes.
And it was too hard for me to read at that time, but I have the book. I need to get it out.
I have it too. I saved it on audio.
Guys. For women, I encourage you to listen to it because it makes you understand a man's heart better. But they
Yeah.
are just different than us.
Yeah.
I love that it's men's retreats and women's retreats.
Me too.
But for these men, they have the Wild at Heart men's retreats all the time throughout the whole nation. So it's something, if your church isn't putting on a retreat, you can go to this one.
Yes.
And it's outdoorsy, it's sports, it's whatever you find fun as a man. I don't know. But it's geared towards you.
Yeah.
Women, even if you're not the leader in your church, like Katie and Jessica felt like they were just part of their church, but not leaders in their church. Guess who's leaders now? They took the initiative, they prayed about it, and they felt led and called to have this retreat. And look at the lives that are changed.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm
The
just
church that has changed.
the church,
the community.
dynamic, and it ripple effects to the community.
Yeah.
So I thought this was going to be a short episode. I was like, let's not go into the actual meat of the retreat, like our curriculum, our itinerary, but let's just talk about the story. It's just hard. Not to. It was so good though. So I hope that our pastors enjoyed this conversation. I hope that you are inspired to first work on yourself. And then it puts you in a position to go out and have the conversations and spread the gospel.
Yeah.
But until you're speaking through a healed heart, it's really hard to share the good news in an honest and truthful way.
Right.
Because if you're speaking through, or if you're seeing things through a broken lens, you're not seeing it right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been working on for the last several years. So this topic of wholeheartedness, I didn't know that's what I was doing, but that's what I've been working on. So I saw myself in each of these steps, especially the surrendered heart, since that's my word for the year.
I called you out. That was great. I wasn't even, I was like, Rachel, could you tell us about surrender?
I know. And I'm like, I hate it. I hate you for asking me in front of everyone. Just kidding. But have I grown to love it? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You're modeling it well, too.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
You are. I'm proud of you.
Well, and that I did want to say it requires you to be honest with yourself and with God. And there is a breaking that happens and a crushing and a pruning. And those things hurt. They're not fun, but they're so necessary to get to the whole heart.
Yeah.
And to let him into those broken places so that he can fix it the way that it needs to be fixed.
But like you said, when you do that, you get to go home and walk fearlessly into a wreck.
Yes.
Walk fearlessly into a mess you already knew was there.
Right.
And then go into it knowing God's got me.
Yes.
He saw me. He sees me. And he's going to meet me here. And he's doing all the work.
Right.
Yes.
We're going to get through this.
I'm just obeying.
Yes. Yes.
Hannah, when you were talking about the gate, I got an image in my mind of a rusted gate and vines and plants that had grown over it where it's really hard
to open even if you want to.
Even if you want to. And it takes a lot of work before you can even open that gate.
Boy, preach.
And so I've called it before trauma dust because it's like cleaning out your attic or your garage. It is a mess. You need to move a lot of things out, and my allergies kick up, and it's...
Yeah, you create more of a mess and more of a...
And I don't feel good for a while, and you have to emotionally be prepared to throw things away or keep them.
Yes.
And even that conversation in your head is a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like, is this dumpster worthy? Do I donate it? It's just a load.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you do start healing.
Yeah.
Is you clean out those ugly places and those damaged places. But look at the beautiful, clean garage or clean attic you have when you're done.
Right.
You feel like it's livable now.
Right. It's hard to do at first. It's stinky.
But you're happy when it's done.
Yes.
So
Great. Now I got to go home and clean.
I know. You do. So anyway, well, thank you again, Pacers. We love you so much, and we hope that you enjoy this podcast as much as we enjoy putting it on, because it helps grow our hearts in love with Jesus more every week, and more in love with you, the people who God wants us to love. We're supposed to love each other. So I'm never going to be that person that says, I hate people. It's too people-y for me. No, find the beauty in people, because there's so much. And we learned that in this retreat. Like I said, a cast of unlikely characters and people that would not normally hang out or be in the same clique are now lifelong friends.
Well, unlikely character to be standing up there teaching. Oh my goodness. What?
No, God knew.
Yep.
All right. Well, Katie, would you like to pray us out?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we just are so amazed and humbled by you, Lord. We just praise you. We praise you. We worship you. We lift up your holy name. We just thank you. I'm just in awe and thanksgiving for all that you did during the retreat, all you're continuing to do with each heart that was affected, and the hearts that haven't even been touched yet, but will be touched by what you chose to do and use us for and bring us to, Lord. What a privilege. I'm just thinking of all of the people on the other end of this radio or phone or whatever they're listening on, Lord. I'm thinking there are people who are longing for a time with you and with other people, Lord. And I just pray that you would bring that opportunity into their lives. I'm thinking of people who are too afraid to do that, Lord. Just start working in that fear, working in that unknown space, Lord. And start giving them courage, start giving them encouragement, Lord, and just begin to move on them. And the ones that are hearing this and thinking, my church, I've wanted this for my church for a long time, Lord, just write a prayer in their heart, Lord, and begin to make it unfold the way that you did for Jessica and I. How amazing that was for us. We did have a prayer in our hearts, and it just unfolded beautifully, Lord. We couldn't have planned it any better, and we didn't. You planned it, and it was perfect, Lord. And I just thank you for using us and for allowing us to have any part in it, but the part that we played was so special to me. And I want to speak to anyone and everyone who wants time with you, Lord, that they can have the retreat every morning.
Yes.
They can have a retreat with you in their hearts, in their own living room. Just get away, just get in the Word, open up the Word, or open up even the Bible app and find a plan and have your retreat, even if it's only for 15 or 10 minutes. God, I know you are speaking to people and you are drawing people into you, Lord. And I can just feel you moving and working. And I'm so excited about that, God. And I just pray that you would open up each heart who is to receive any of this and bless them, bless each one of our listeners, our pacers, bless everyone at this table, bless Kai, bless us all and walk with us this next week, Lord, in a closer, more amazing way. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Oh, sweet soul sisters, my heart is just bursting watching us grow. Just the intimacy that we've created with each other and with our newfound friends on the other end of this line. I just love it so much. And I thank you for your time that you're making to make this podcast possible. And Katie, for your leadership and watching you step up is beautiful. I love y'all so much. Cannot wait to get together and talk soon. If you are listening today and you feel led to give to our ministry, we ask that you reach out to us at the 3 Mile Per Hour 3MPH podcast on Instagram or Facebook. You can send a message on Messenger. Also, our email is the number 4 soulsisters2019@gmail.com. We are desperately hoping to get our own equipment. We are hoping to do video and looking for a place, which I think we have. But if you feel led, we are so desperately hoping to get our own space and time to make this easier for us to give you guys a message. And I know the Lord is working in people's hearts through situations that we don't even know. And I'm sure we're going to be more blessed than we could have ever dreamed, but I'm going to go ahead and ask. So if you feel led, please reach out to us. We would love anything you're willing to give. Also, if you could like us on Facebook, give us a 5-star rating on the podcast, we'd appreciate it.